how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. I turn the music up in my headphones. Couldn't hear anything. I hear it now. You're here for your weekly Thursday night nerdy talk show where we sit back and relax. I said we sit back and relax. And hopefully by now you've poured yourself a little bit of,
more specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
as we cruise into the weekend. As we cruise into the weekend, we have a fun show in store for all of you today. A lot of news this week. I feel like this week was like 2 weeks, but alas, it's only 1 week. I'm going to change up some of the lights in here. But no, we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a good time. Of course, if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shit. I feel like I had some lights that were for YouTubing, but I guess I don't have them saved in here. Let me lower this one real quick. 1 second. It didn't make much of a difference. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, if you guys have any topics you want to talk about, put it in the chat down below because it's your show, not my show. And of course, later on in the show for channel members, I will turn on the link so you can join the stream if you want. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend. It is me. Yo soy el problema. It is me. Happy to see all of you guys here today. I was thinking I should probably move the chat here, right? Since I'm always looking this direction. I feel like that makes more sense. Let's do that now, real quick. Let's see if I can do it. I'd have to unlock the screen first. Chat and move. Boom. Right? I've been thinking about that for like, I think 2 weeks at this point. And we finally did it. But I don't want my tripod to fall. I think we're good. So one more time for all those in the back, just for you.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
There you go. So how have you guys been? How was your weekend? How's your week been? Yeah, all that fun stuff. Let's say hi to everybody here in the chat. Dave's Dimension. Good to see you. But now I got to move this probably down here, right? But that probably makes sense. Better now. Just got off of work. There you go. Love that. Cutthroat Comics in the house. Good to see you. Chilled all day. I love that. I'm ready for your stream. Can't wait. There you go. Dave, you did not stream this week on Tuesday. What's going on? I need those Tuesday streams. Also down below, since Dave is here, I added a link to our ongoing links. Of course, there is the one for the Ectotech. So if you guys get a chance, please donate over there. No pun intended. The donations have slowed down for his GoFundMe. If you can, hit that link down there. Share it with your friends. All that fun stuff. We still have the link for Josh for his daughter's Girl Scout cookies coming up on hitting the goal. Could use a little bump, use a little push. So if you can, order some Girl Scout cookies down there. And last but not least, new entry into the charity/donation section down below. Dave's Dimension, Ride for a Cure. Link is down there to his page. Donate if you can. He's got his live stream that he's currently trying to plan. So make sure that we all support one another. Hit those links down below. Here we go. There you go. There you go. Ultra Carter Zilla in the house. Good to see you. But you're too afraid to admit it. Was something... oh, here we go. He says, I still believe the reason you did not do a live last week and this Tuesday is because you're planning to do a collab live with General Kenobi. You should. You should. Dada Films in the house. Good to see you. We're saying hi to each other. Patrick in the house. Good to see you. Ultra Carter says, sorry, but I'm afraid not. He's too big for the likes of me. Which button is it?
Boo! Boo!
Kenobi's not that guy.
Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
There should be a one of us button. As big as Kenobi gets, he will always be one of us. Shout out to General Kenobi. One of us. One of us. Marsha in the house. Good to see you. Then strike back, Davey boy. I love that. Looking young and fresh tonight. I don't know. I do feel like the video quality is slightly better than usual. I don't know what's going on, but there you go. There you go. Man collects in the house. I'm going to give myself the button, Chris, and it's going to happen.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
I have not watched any Man Collect videos this week. I'm ashamed of myself. Utterly ashamed. I had my mother visiting in town, and if you don't know, the Man Collects, just like clockwork, just like the tax man, comes around every single week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern with a new toy hunt. And usually I watch it on my my lunch break, but I had no lunch breaks. Therefore, my routine was thrown off. And I'm like, shoot, it's already Thursday and I'm behind on videos. So I will watch tomorrow's video, and then I'm going to go back and watch Wednesday's news video. And then try to go back to Monday. I'm going to go backwards. Return of Jedi, Empire, New Hope. That's what I'm going to go. 2,100 subs. For some reason, that number is always off. Where is my dashboard? Dashboard says 2,105. But it's always like a delay. I don't know why. Trying to make it to the big times, trying to hit that like 5,000, even 4,000. JB just hit 4,000. Seth hit 10,000. So got a ways to go. We're trying our best. Just today, the mail from the Spartan 118MX through Etsy. Finally received my painted 1/18th scale heads and ODST helmets to complete my Marauders style ODST customs. I love that. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love that. Saluting each other, giving each other all the cool hand signals. This past Tuesday, there was a lot of streams going on, including Yes Have Some. I don't count them. You can go up against them. That's fine. You can do it. It's funny. I have an invisible beef with Yes Have Some for no reason, really. Well, no, that's not true. The reason being, anytime there's a content creator that I feel, I don't think shills is the right word, so I'm going to say it. So I think of a better word. If there's a channel or a creator that nothing's ever wrong from whoever they cover, to me, it's always a problem. So they're too close. They're too close to the Ghostbuster team and Sony and all that, so they can't be trusted. I'm laughing at a DM from Legacy Hunter. So yeah, they have no idea who I am, but it's fine. I thought you were booing me at first. No worries. You haven't missed anything. That's funny. T3 collects in the house. T3 was the first person I knew personally that saw Captain America Brave New World and liked it, said it wasn't great. It seems to be the review. See, my voice, was it break number 2 right now? Seems to be the review, right? Right now, I've not seen Brave New World. I'm avoiding spoilers, even though I feel like there's not much to spoil from my understanding of the movie. I haven't outwardly looked for anything, but we'll talk about that later on if we have time. There was one reviewer I was watching. There's a channel. This probably happens to all you guys too. You run into a channel. I can't remember his name right now. I don't want to put him on blast, even if I do remember it, but I don't remember his name. But there's a YouTuber I found. I think he was suggested by the homepage, which, by the way, the homepage, all of you guys really should be trying your best to put out some content, because the homepage has been like suggesting a lot of small YouTube channels. Like that's been the YouTube jam for the last like 6 months. And I noticed it a lot this past week. There's a lot of like videos suggested to me, and the people had like 100 subscribers, 500 subscribers, etc. There's one guy, he was suggested to me, I think, for a hot toy review, but it turns out he reviews kind of everything that we cover here. Hot toys, or not hot toys, but Marvel stuff, DC stuff. He does Ghostbusters cosplay. He mods his Ghostbuster proton packs, all that fun stuff. So he was suggested to me. I was watching much of his videos, and he saw Brave New World. And I saw this in a couple other of his reviews. I went back to watch. He saw Brave New World and was like saying how good it was, and then only had complaints as his video went on. Of which case I was like, all right, so was it not good? You know? So I feel like a lot of people, when I've been watching the reviews, they're like, it's not as bad as you think. Don't listen to the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. It's the score seems to be 8 out of 10. But then they have like a long list of complaints. So I'm like, all right, it probably wasn't that good. So all that I guess I'm covering the movie now. All that to say, I have not seen the movie yet. As of now, I don't intend to see the movie until it's on streaming. But, you know, we'll look at the Excel sheet later. We'll look at the numbers later. Dave said, I binged Spider-Man this week. It's this year's X-Men 97 beyond all expectations. To Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
You know, I'm going to talk about that. I'll catch up with the comments later. I want to start rolling because we're already over 15 minutes in. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I finished it today, and I think it came out Tuesday. But like I said, my schedule was all thrown off. I finished it today, and man, that's a good show. That was a good show. You can see here my notes on it. You guys commented on there as well. You know, my fear with this show is it's not going to get the eyes it deserves. You know, unlike X-Men 97, which you referenced, Dave, you know, I think going into X-Men 97, knowing it was a continuation of the OG show, more people were inclined to check it out because they were like, oh, that's like the old show. Even though when you watched it, there were very little connections to the OG show in it other than like the intro. So people were like, more casuals were inclined to watch it. This one has no connection to the OG animated series. What I think happened with this show is it's a miss because of the animation. I think as I'm talking this through with you guys, as I thought about it over the last couple hours, I think the miss with this show is the animation. And I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think the animation style for a lot of people, especially the casual viewer who probably watched X-Men 97 because they're just like, oh, I heard there's a continuation, whatever. I think those people saw this trailer and immediately thought this was like a kiddie cartoon. Between this uniform, the animation style, even, to be honest, even like the race and gender swaps and stuff, people probably saw it and were just like, this is going to be, again, I hate using the phrase, it's going to be like some woke kiddie cartoon Spider-Man show. And I think a lot of that is tied to the animation. And it's not. It is not at all. First 2 episodes were okay. I gave it some bonus points because it had a premise or promise. The final scene of the second episode set me up to know that like not a lot of things in this cartoon were going to be original ideas. And I talked about that before on this show. But as the show went on, it started to like kind of stand out on its own. I started to disconnect it from the animated series, Spider-Verse, everything else Spider-Man that we've come to know and love. I also started to have it stand alone in my head, you know, from Disney. You know, like there's Disney animation has had this stain on it for so long. MCU has had a stain on it for so long. And as this show went on, and as they established the world, established the characters, every character was getting an origin story, and it didn't feel overwhelming. I really started to like the show. Really did. A complaint I didn't list here, because like I said, I mentioned complaints here out of, you know, I mentioned complaints just because I feel like if you're going to review something, you have to point out negatives, not because there were a lot of them. But, you know, I felt like they almost had too many cameos in the show because you set up some characters without it being like an open close story. Like characters came in and left. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to try my best not to spoil even things that were in the trailer that are spoilers. But you know, when you think about the OG cartoons, right? And this is something we've talked about also on the show. When you think about the OG cartoons that we used to know and love, you didn't have a storyline that was like started in episode 1, went to the end of the season, or started episode 1, went throughout the course of the show. Every episode was its own standalone thing. When you had cameos in those cartoons and in those shows, the cameos were a vital part to the story. Now, in the Spider-Man animated series cartoon, you did have story arcs, right? You had the story arc where he was losing his powers, which then turned into the arc of him turning into the Man Spider. You had the Spider Wars arc. You had all sorts of things that were happening. The Clone Wars arc with Hydro Man. So you had those arcs happening, but there was still the episodic feel to the show. With this cartoon, I feel like it could have used that because there was like a slight overall story, but because they were sticking to that idea, when you had a cameo, the cameo was like short, sweet, boom, versus the cameo was in like the whole episode and there was interactions. You know, think too when, I don't remember what arc that was, but we had Blade introduced into the original cartoon animated series. Like Blade was in the whole episode, interacting with Spider-Man. Why are you here? What do you do? What's your backstory? Oh, you're going after Morbius. So am I. Yeah, you had all that being flushed out. Here, you didn't have that. Here, for example, he doesn't show up in the show, so this is not a spoiler. I'm using Blade as an example. Here, like Blade would show up, like on the motorcycle, do something to affect the story, and then was out. And it's like, wait, where's Blade? I need more Blade. You know, so that's a nitpick. A nitpick that's not on this list that I'm thinking about as I'm looking at this picture is I wish there was more of this, him in his own homemade suit. It was very short-lived in the show, and I like this suit because the suit feels very homemade. In the intro to the show, you see different iterations of his homemade costume. But this one, I think this costume, I said this, I think 2 weeks ago, I think this costume will be a hit at Comic-Con because it's going to be easy to make. Super easy to make. So please, if you get a chance, watch the show. I took a bunch of screenshots today of people's thumbnails where they were just like judging the show based on the trailers. Oh, it's going to be woke. Everything's gay. Blah, blah, blah. I took screenshots of them. I was going to do a whole thing on it, and I just left it alone because I don't want to give them any clout. They were all wrong. Every single one of them was wrong. And that's my message to everybody. Anytime you watch these like toxic creators that everything's woke, everything's liberal, everything's blah, 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 and the thing is not even out yet, just ignore it. I'm telling you, ignore it. Because it is just bullshit. It is all bullshit. All of it. All of it. And this show, to me, is like the nail in the coffin on that concept. There's been other ones in the past. The one that always comes to mind, not Rings of Power, House of Dragon. They're the whatever houses, they're all black now and they have blonde hair. It's so stupid. Everything's woke. That season 1 was amazing. And they all shut up. They all shut up. So don't watch that filth, is what I'm saying to all of you here today. Let me try to catch up on the chat. I know I've probably fallen way behind here. It was wonderful. Tony in the house. Good to see you. I show for Marvel Legends. Bankalek says, I'm starting a YouTube beef with T3. I'm expecting people to ask me about Barbie Corvettes. I love that. Speaking of Devil, Legacy in the house. I'm going to answer your DM. I'm going to give you that one. I will give you that one. Legacy did a spoiler to the cartoon. And Legacy knows we don't really ever talk about our DMs out loud. I don't think anybody ever talks about their DMs with somebody else out loud. But Legacy will tell you, I get at him every time he posts a spoiler about something to be like, you didn't wait X amount of time. And he's right. He waited 36 hours before he posted a spoiler about this cartoon. And it's one of those where like you have to really think about it to get the spoiler. So I give you credit for that too. But like Daniel knows, I always get at him. I'm like, oh, bro, come on. Even if it doesn't affect me. There was, what was it? The Superman and Lois, like that one scene, like in the last episode. And I was like, why did you share that? And you made a good point. Everybody was sharing it. But Daniel knows I'm going to be in that DM pause every single time. And I love you for it. You enjoyed the voice actor performances and laughed a lot at the moments. Yeah. Anybody know which aisle the metal bendy wires located, either Lowe's or Home Depot? Because I need to use them as barbed wire for my homemade accessories for WWE figures. Look in the flower or decorative section. Like on my desk here, I have some bendy wire. Actually, I have two. I had them out here for the video I never released on how to make your own spider webs. Speaking of Spider-Man, and these are used for floral arrangements. So it's probably going to be in the floral section where they have like the fake flowers. My guess. Sin in the house. First time, I believe. Good to see you, Sin. We're friends all since day one. Me and Original Sin. There you go. This design seemed whack to me. Do you mean the cartoon? Captain America Brave New World, 7 out of 10. Seen it twice, and my review stays the same. Some reason I thought you gave it an 8. But like I said, I think it's just most of the reviews I've seen, they're 8s. So I probably just looped you into that. Coleman Domingo gets my vote for MCU Norman Osborn. There I said it. And yes, the animation is why I held off on it. Yeah. The outfit is garbage. Let me bring it back up. I disagree. I can see why, but to me, looking at this is when was it? When the first 2 episodes dropped, we talked about it here on the show. And this outfit to me is the current version of what Tobey Maguire had in the first movie. A suit that like very well you can go to Walmart and buy all these pieces and make a suit. You know, the only thing in question is like the mask, which even in Tobey Maguire one, the mask was like kind of, where would you find that? But this suit very much looks like something you can just put together at Target. You know, that's what I like about it. That's the charm I like about it. But of the homemade suits, I don't know if it's the best homemade suit. I think the Toby one, because that's our day one. You know, who was it that hated this one? Oh, Sal also didn't like this suit. Sal was not a fan. Actually, Sal's not a fan of the homemade suit in general. He gets the concept, but he's not a fan. And I can see why. I don't disagree with that concept, you know. It's like good. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love that. This animation favored What If to me. Yeah, for sure. And I think What If has been so bad that anything even close to that, people are just like, nah, I'm out. Just like when we were getting that Teen Titans Go style animation on everything, people are like, I'm out. I don't care. Thundercats Go, I'm not even going to try. So I get it. I had a similar reaction to CW shows. For a long time, I couldn't watch a CW show because of the whatever camera setup they had on CW shows, because of shows I hated. I was like, I'm not going to give any of them a try. Like 0. So I get it. I'm going to binge Spidey tomorrow. Nice. Outfit is garbage. They did a good job. Oh, if the outfit is garbage, they did a good job. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about this animated new Spider-Man series was the opening of the show. Yeah. Opening of the show music. Yeah, I was skipping the music. I was skipping the intros on it. And then two episodes ago, I realized at the end of the theme song, they show like a comic book cover and every episode's different. And I was like, fuck. I kept missing that. So, yeah. I love when Batman showed up with Scooby-Doo. Oops, spoiler. Rolando in the house. Good to see you. Everybody saying hi to Rolando. Where's the part where Kevin Hart saved Aunt May? Yeah, definitely. Blade. I'm so far behind on the comments. Sorry. Blade was a part of the OG Neogenic Nightmare with Michael Morbius in the animated series. Yeah. The Rambling Nerd Anthony in the house. Good to see you. Yeah. I thought that was going to be today. I figured today was going to be a Spider-Man reveal. And I was hoping it would be the animated series. Some people speculated Fantastic Four, but I was like, for Marvel Legends, the live stream today, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man figures. They were Spider-Man figures from the freaking Spider-Man 2 video game. Came out, 2 years ago at this point? Whatever. Legacy of Nerd, I can't lie. I stopped following you from the spoilers. They did share it. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Spider-Man, the Canadian American animated series from 1967 to 1970, super dope. It was good. That was good. I liked the white and blue suit he rocked. I like the theme song. There you go. So yeah, check out Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a good one. It is a good one. For sure. Okay. Let's jump over to... Since we're talking about toys, right? Let's do I'll touch on this real quick. I shared this probably like 2 days late, but wrong screen. There you go. I've never seen this before. So Hot Toys, they released a statement that the Bat Missile from Batman Returns, the 1/6 scale Batmobile, is canceled. When this was originally announced, for some reason, I thought it also came with the sides. And I thought it was just a Batman Returns Batmobile where the sides came off to have the missile from that movie. And it turns out it was just the missile portion. It wasn't even the whole thing. And they announced that they canceled it. It's off the market. So I assume people got refunds for it, I guess. But honestly, I didn't hear anybody talk about this release. Like we've been eating up the Batman releases from Hot Toys, McFarlane, everybody. And this was the one vehicle I completely forgot about. Completely. So I'm not surprised that it got canceled, in the sense that I'm not surprised it didn't get a lot of orders, but I am surprised that Hot Toys canceled the release, because I really don't think I've ever seen that. If you guys remember one, let me know in the comments. First time I've ever seen this. So, you know, as we go into other topics today, especially around stock prices and earnings and all that kind of thing, I think that says something. If even a company like Hot Toys, even they could be like, hey, this is going to take an L. We can't afford to take that L. We can't even risk it. Just cancel it. Don't even, ain't happening. Ain't happening. That's my fear with the Mondo Ghostbusters. I've told you guys this before. My fear is they're not doing as well as they say they are, and all of a sudden the line gets canceled. You got 3 out of 4, and now you're just effed. It doesn't seem likely at this point, but that's my overarching fear. Dave's sharing the link to his Ride for the Cure. Again, make sure you guys donate to that. Link is down below in the show description. This is an outrage. Yeah. Well, that sucks. Looks cool. I would want it for sure. Oh, you would want that. All right. I just think pricing wise, if I remember, it wasn't too far off from like the whole Batmobile. Don't fear the Buster. Yeah, they canceled other pre-orders because of minimal pre-orders, I believe. That What If Iron Man that looked like a character from Overwatch. Oh, really? Okay. Let's take a look here. Is this still on the website? Search. What If Iron Man Hot Toy. Oh, this one? That one even ever come out? Let me search just the name and see if that one. Hot Toy. It isn't. It says out of stock, but I don't see anything about it being canceled. Is that the one you're talking about? Or is it a different one? Prototype shown. Oh, I guess technically it should have been out. Or it should be out by next month. But wow, that was 2023 when they announced that thing. Damn. So unless there's a different one, I'm just not thinking of. When you said Overwatch, that's what came to mind. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if you guys think of any. Let me know. I am curious. Now, talking about the stock stuff, now we're going to get super nerdy here. And then we'll go to the Ghostbusters, of course. Hasbro had their earnings report today, and the stock market loved it. There it is. Here it is. Let me go to my other screen real quick, since Patrick shared the link. Real quick. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. And a Flash Young Barry was also canceled. Wow. Crazy. Good job, Patrick. Cheers to you. That's crazy. I've never heard of a major company doing that before. Like announcing a figure, and because the sales are so bad, they're just like, just kidding. Not going to happen. I think about so many Hot Toys and so many other figures that just kind of like, shelf form, essentially. Figures that are always on the site, don't really move. But I guess that's a thing. Dave said it was a surprise to him too. Wow. All right. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Over to Hot Toys. Over to Hasbro. So Hasbro, they had their earnings report and they hit it again. So to Hasbro. I've talked about their earnings numerous times on the channel. These shorts never get a lot of views. It's fine. But I find it interesting. So there's been a thing happening in the toy community for the last 2 weeks where people kept saying Hasbro's going to stop making action figures. And I could not figure out where that came from. We talked about way back when. It was probably at this point 2 years ago when Hasbro announced that they were going to start licensing out their licenses, or giving out the licenses, selling the licenses. And we saw McFarlane jump in. We saw Super 7 jump in. We saw Playmates jump in, or Mattel jump in. So we saw that start, and everybody suspected that they would just stop selling action figures altogether. I know I said it, they would slow down, and maybe they would even only do premium style figures. That was like a theory I had. Not like it's going to happen, but I was like, oh, what if they only do that? But for some reason, in the last 2 weeks, people really got this story about Hasbro stopping with toys. And I don't know where that comes from, outside of people hear the digital thing and think that means the opposite as well. Digital meaning Hasbro's making a ton of money on Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Monopoly Go, names that come up in every earnings call. Every earnings call, those come up. So obviously they're going to keep pushing that. On this earnings call, I listened to it before the stream actually, because that's what I do for fun. They talked about how they're going to keep investing more of their money into things that have a higher margin. So the things I previously mentioned, those are digital, low overhead, invest more into that. Stock market loved that. They mentioned how well some toys have been doing. One of those being Beyblade. Beyblade continues to do well for them. This is probably it's probably been like a year that they've been announcing, or on every earnings call saying Beyblade is a good seller for them. And it has not slowed down as far as the physical assets go. Another physical that goes well for them, Mr. Potato Head. But in something that we pay attention to, Transformers. And they keep referencing Transformers 1. So Transformers 1 continues to get Transformer sales up. In their eyes, to us, I think it's just Transformers in general, but to them, it's due to Transformers 1. They did say they saw a bump in sales on the toy side with Brave New World, specifically around the release of it. So they attributed that to the good performance this past weekend. But they finally said a toy line that is not doing well. If any of you guys want to guess a toy line that's not doing well, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Or I should say a license not doing well. And it's something that we've talked about. I cry fake news on it from time to time. But actually, they referenced it more than once on the stream. And that is Star Wars. They said Star Wars has not been doing well toy-wise, which is interesting considering Skeleton Crew came out and everybody was swearing Skeleton Crew performed well. They mentioned Brave New World, bump in sales. No bump in sales on Star Wars stuff. So a question was asked, how do they figure out what licenses to attempt to sell to other companies, right? In other words, how do they figure out who gets the honor of working on a brand for them or a license for them? They said that it's actually attributed to performance. The other brand that was mentioned was Nerf. They said Nerf's not doing well. And they said what happens is they want to, and I took notes. So I'm going to pull up my notes real quick just to make sure I'm not, speaking out of turn here. Here it was. Yeah. They said that when they're figuring out what license to put on the market for people to bid on, they first figure out, is it something that they want to keep in-house? Which, again, tells me Hasbro wants to keep making toys in-house, which they were also asked that, and they said yes. So they say, all right, is it worth our time and effort, our R&D, to keep this thing in-house? Yes or no? And then the CEO, Chris, said that there's like a kind of like mental category of does something need to be reinvented? Like, is it performing poorly, but people should like it, they're just not at the moment. It needs a refresh. Should it be, like he said, in his words, reinvented? He brought up Nerf. He said Nerf is one of those lines that really needs to be reinvented because shooting, I forget how he phrased it, but shooting foam at each other, that style of play with kids right now obviously is not working. So it's been the same since 1970 whatever when it came out. Every time on the call he mentioned Nerf and Star Wars in the same sentence. Not performing well, Nerf and Star Wars. This is performing well, these other things are not performing well. For example, Nerf and Star Wars. He said it multiple times on the call. So I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Black Series ends up taking a walk to another brand to make. Would not be surprised. He did note that Disney's been soft with their releases when it comes to Star Wars. So it could be something where they're like, all right, we'll hang on to it. And because we have faith that there is more things coming out. He did mention that they are working on new innovative things when it comes to toys. He didn't specifically say Star Wars, but he just noted that. So right now we have Andor season 2. Andor toys don't move like that. And then you have Mandalorian and Grogu at the end of the year. So if I'm a betting man here, they're holding on to this to see what happens as we get closer to Mandalorian and Grogu. If toys continue to suck, 2026, I don't doubt we see Star Wars go to McFarlane or Super 7, somebody else. But Hasbro still owns that license. The only tough part there is the Disney tax. Disney has a heavy tax on all the stuff that they give out because they own that. So now, if you're a McFarlane, now if you're a Super 7, if I'm going to make a Luke Skywalker figure, I got to pay Hasbro a tax and I got to pay Disney a tax on top of my operation cost for making this figure. May not make sense and therefore won't happen. But, we'll see. We'll see. It's another earnings call. This is I don't know. I've been paying attention to this for probably. I've been paying attention to the Hasbro earnings calls and talking about it for probably 3 years now. I've been paying attention for the last 5, I'd say. But we'll say 3 years that I've been talking on the channel about it. 3 years of earnings calls, quarterly calls, quarterly calls, and not once a mention of crowdfunding, HasLabs, anything of the sort. They did say that the toy market is flat, and they foresee for the next 3 years it remains to be flat. The average age of the toy consumer, physical toy consumer, continues to increase. Now it's about 13 plus. So, I think they're starting to understand, and they do understand we are part of that market, the kidults, they call us. But they're not going to stop. It's stupid for them to stop. And even if it's flat, as long as it's not losing, it ain't going anywhere. It's still easy money for them to a certain extent. So Hasbro not dumping toys. They hit it out the park again. So everybody who's calling for the CEO to be fired, everybody calling for blah, blah, blah. There's your 6-month chart on the screen. I disagree with things. You guys know how I feel about the Maximum series. Completely disagree. But, there it is. Let me check the comments real quick. Star Wars. Transformers always sells. That new thing just got fun. Yeah. Transformers fans are wild. Wild. Star Wars Lego is off the charts. It's hundreds to thousands of dollars for a set. Insane. Interesting. Lexi said, then that means this is the third earnings they said Star Wars is doing bad. Oh, they did it 2 other times too? I should keep a running document of like highlights, earnings call after earnings call. No mention of Power Rangers on this one. We know that they are licensing out the Power Ranger license to Mattel. They announced the new series of figures coming out, but they did not talk about it. They did say that them licensing out licenses has been profitable. They saw like a 60% increase in revenue on that. So that works for them. So we'll see how things progress. T3's, oh, by the way, guys, I'm turning on if anybody wants to jump on, if you're a member, go into the community tab. You can hit the link to join the stream. T3 said, if McFarlane Toys took over the license for Marvel or Star Wars, the figures wouldn't be $19.99 or $22.99. They would still be $24.99. Looking at Marvel pose figure statues for $30. Yeah. Small scale ones, and $50 for the big scale. Yeah. I don't think McFarlane taking the Marvel line would decrease costs. You're correct. At $19.99 and $22.99, the fact that he's still putting out that quality of figure, at this point, I'm like, you might as well increase the price if you're going to give out better paint apps, pinless, double jointed, all that stuff. McFarlane stuff at the moment, I was impressed with the Batfleck armored figure, and that's about it. Yeah, Playmans, yeah. Yeah. Now, this does tie into the next thing I want to talk about, which is this announcement from Spirit Halloween. This announcement from Ghostbusters News, that's a leak from Spirit Halloween. So Spirit Halloween announced a Ghost Trap and Pedal, a deluxe version for $149.99, courtesy of GhostbustersNews.com. He didn't put it in his social post, but he put it on the website. To show you the full offering, trap opens up. It comes with a cable, a syringe, I guess to add in your smoke effect juice. Once again, it comes with gloves. They do that with the deluxe proton pack. and it comes with a belt with key fobs for $149.99. Obviously, it's not going to be the same quality, but holy shit, does this not shit on Hasbro? I mean, we paid what, $300 for these two with the cable and a PKE. I mean, I'm not gonna say I feel like a sucker at the moment, but Spirit once again proves things can be done. Things can be done, and it's gonna get modded to all hell. People are gonna mod the living shit out of this thing. They're gonna buy 5 of these things and mod the hell out of them. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Knowing that this is $150 for all of these items, why is the Mondo figures priced the way they are? Because here's the running theory, right? Here was what Mondo has been saying to everybody. The people who own the license to Ghostbusters are making it really hard for us to make these figures. We all assumed, because Hasbro is the main manufacturer, that Hasbro put that super high tax on Mondo when it comes to the Ghostbuster figures, because they also make Ghostbuster figures. Not the same ones, but they also make the same ones. So people are like, well, because of the licensing, the sales, the license tax, it has to be $100 a figure or $200 for 2 figures. It has to be. Hasbro made a 2-in-the-box. And these guys got the green light to make a competitor to the Trap for half the price. So is that true? Or are they, or is Hasbro and Ghost Corps messing with Mondo? Like picking on them, you know? You also can't buy the 2-in-the-box anymore unless you're buying it third party. So that plays a factor in it. But this makes me second guess future HasLabs in the cosplay space for things. You know, like if Hasbro made an RGB pack before Spirit did, maybe I wait to see if Spirit does one, because it'll be half the cost and easier to mod, you know? This thing's amazing. I cannot wait to have this in hand, compare it to the Hasbro one. This is easily the one that's going to go to conventions. For sure. For sure. Come on. Lights up and everything. You can take, you know, the bar graph's coming off. The sides are coming off. Parts of the pillow coming off to put on the metal pieces. I mean, this is great for $150, especially if your store hangs on to it past Halloween, goes on half off. Bro. This is a win. This is a win. Cannot wait. But it really made me think about that Mondo thing again, where I'm just like, wait a minute. They got to pay the tax too. And they still only made it $150. Why does Mondo have to have this increased volume, increased amount, if they're also paying the tax? You know, I just noticed on here, when you open it here, there's a hole in the center. So there's lights around the sides here. And then I guess the center hole is where the smoke comes out. So maybe you inject into there. There's a coil in there, and then it heats up, creates smoke. But this is gonna do crazy numbers. Because it's been 3 years since the full size pack came out. Now we get an updated Trap. Crazy. But this is an example where competition's good. Spirit coming out with that Trap. It pushes Hasbro. Hasbro has to keep on, putting out quality things, because that's your number one competitor. Let me catch up on the comments here. I read those, I think. That looks awesome. Plus it comes with the belt too. Yeah. That's the thing. Spirit makes it so like if you don't have a Ghostbusters cosplay already, by buying the deluxe things, you get everything you need. The Proton Pack came with, I believe, a belt also. No, it came with the patches, the gloves, and the pack. Now you buy this one, you get the gloves, you get the belt, and the trap with the pedal. And then you can still buy the PK from them, the goggles from them. Great. This is getting modded big time. I have so many ideas. Yeah. Looks better than previous trap. The pedal mechanics have me curious. Yeah. Belt. It's a belt for skinny people. Yeah. Send me the link. I swear I clicked on it and it didn't give me an option. That's where I was like, wait, did I already do it or no? But I'm super excited for that. Seeing that today, game changer. Because I also regretted not buying another Two in the Box, but there's no way I could have spent that money. But now knowing that this one's coming out, no regrets. No regrets. All right, let's end today's show with some box office mojo. Let's talk about Brave New World. All right. So Brave New World came out last weekend. It was, to many people, a huge success. Would you like to be a guest on my new podcast? Of course. Why do you have to ask? You know the answer. So we got Brave New World last weekend, came out. It was The Only Kid on the Block, no competition, school break for kids. Perfect time to release. And opened up at 88 mil. Some people are saying 100 because they were counting Monday. You don't technically count Monday. So opened up domestically at 88 mil. Right now the totals are on the screen for a worldwide 208. Now, was it a success? Let's find out. So, Brave New World here. Domestic open. Actually, you have to change that number, like I said, because now the final numbers are like coming out. So, let's go there. And as of now, domestic number and international. So, if we follow the rule of two, it is not doing well. We're at minus 151. Now, what I hate about, you guys know this. What I hate about the news when it comes to financial things is any number can look crazy if you have no point of reference. People saw the 88 mil, the 100 mil, and they were like, man, Brave New World. And you saw the ads, right? Number one movie in America. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's a lot to you and me. But if you don't have a point of reference, you got nothing. The number is just a number. But let's go over here and add some filters onto the screen. Franchise, let's clear that out. Let's go MCU. Just in case, do I have Marvel in here? I do have Marvel. Which one's Marvel? Captain Marvel. Ironically. Change that. Okay, so right now we're looking at just the MCU movies in general. I am not counting here the Sony Spider-Man movies. These are just Disney MCU. Right? Disney was Paramount was at first. So just the MCU as we know it. If I sort lowest to highest, Brave New World opened up just past Thor 2. So that is 11th, the bottom 11. There, I mean, it ain't great. It ain't great. The last movie to perform that poorly, you got the Marvels in 2023, Eternals, and Shang-Chi in a post Endgame world. Let me sort by date. Right? So even Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania performed better. Yeah, Guardians, but 88, lowly 88 mil. Now, people called me a jerk when I said this should have been a TV show. Oh, you're just a hater. Blah, 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 blah. The average person doesn't know anybody outside of Chris Evans as Captain America. It is what it is. It is what it is. 88 mil is not great for an open of a Marvel MCU movie. It just is not. Doesn't cut it. Will we get more? Obviously, they're going to push the Avengers movie. They kind of have to. But if Thunderbolts somehow bombs, I don't think it will, but if Thunderbolts somehow makes similar numbers, we're in trouble. We're in trouble for like pretty much anything outside of a cartoon. Because they're really going to, at that point, step back and be like, okay, where are we messing up here? What is the issue? And try to figure it out. But as of now, if I scroll over, Black Widow, L, Eternals, L, and you have those two. Shang-Chi hit profit. Wasn't great. Barely hit it. People don't talk about it anymore. And I think another issue is nobody talks about these movies anymore. Even though they performed well. And even though they were good. They are all but forgotten. So, I don't know. I feel like having a performance like this for a marquee name, Captain America, whether you agree or disagree that that's his name. I would bet that there's more conversations happening now about reboots and retcons or whatever. There's more conversations about that happening now, I think, than before. Easily. My opinion. Or MCU continues and they just do more Elseworld stories, right? Maybe the Fantastic Four is on another world, and then you create an MCU of that one. But that gets confusing for the casual fan. That wouldn't be good for them. But I don't know. The other part too to consider, and a lot of people don't think about this when they, once again, I'm gonna shit on the fandom menace people out there. All these people who come out, and I'll get to the comments after this. All the people who come out and shit on Disney Star Wars, saying that like they're starting to realize, Kathleen Kennedy is scared. I may have made this analogy before, so I apologize if you heard it before. I heard this on a couple different podcasts, and it made sense in terms of music. Shout out to DJ Academics for this one. Not my original idea. He said this first. I saw other people say it, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. If I am a record company, right? And I'm going after a popular singer or whoever. I want not just the current popular person. I want to own the discography. For example, Linkin Park, right? Linkin Park just came out with a new album. I don't even know if actually did the album come out? The new singer is out. The singles were out. I assume the album's out. Linkin Park drops an album. It's going to perform decently. It's the first album in a long time. First album since Chester died. It's going to perform decently. But what you really want, where the money is you want to own the discography. Because any casual person is going to download that album, or the casual person is going to see on social media, there's a new Linkin Park album, and they're going to say, I haven't heard Hybrid Theory in a while. I haven't heard Meteor in a while. Let me go load that up and listen to that. I don't have the CD anymore. I better go on YouTube and listen to it. I better go on Amazon, or I better go on Apple or Spotify or whatever. And that's where they're making the money. On the people who go back and watch or listen to something old. Because you own the discography. Same concept happens here. New Captain America comes out. It's announced. Maybe you're somewhat interested, but you're like, oh, wait, what did I miss? I haven't seen the old ones in a while. You're probably going to skip the TV show because the TV show's not labeled Captain America. The TV show's labeled Falcon and Winter Soldier. But you might go back and watch Winter Soldier. You might go back and watch First Avenger. You might be inclined to buy a shield from one of those, or be like, hey, let's go to Disney World, or something stupid like that. Something that's tied to it. And that's where they're making their money. On that nostalgia hit. So that continues to happen with Marvel. We go over here and we point out the L's that happened after the orange line, which is Endgame. But all these other ones are good. And they own all the rest of them. And for every shitty movie they come out with, there's somebody who's like, man, that was terrible. Or, I don't want to watch the new one. But you know what? I'm going to go back and watch the old one. I'm going to go back and watch Iron Man 1. And you got to go to Disney for that. You got to go to Disney Plus for that. So, we can speculate and do whatever when it comes to the MCU movies. And bitch and moan. They're still making money. Same with Star Wars. So, I think they don't want this to be a trend with the poor performances. So I think we'll continue to see the slowdown in movies, which sucks. The slowdown in TV shows, which sucks. But best believe they're not like afraid or, super scared. They're just going to maybe pivot a little bit and try to get back in the black when it comes to these performances. But we'll see. All right, let's catch up on the comments here. A lot of my friends said they went to go see the movie and they said they really liked it a lot. Break even, they said it would be $425. I don't doubt that. And yeah, I don't know anybody who saw it and was like, oh, that movie sucked. Nobody's saying that. But nobody's saying it was amazing. They were just like, yeah, it was a decent watch. If it makes 500 mil, I'd be surprised. Looking at the list here, yeah, they haven't cracked 500 mil since Endgame. So you're probably right. Oh, wait, sorry. That was profit. I'm an idiot. Total. Doctor Strange in Multiverse, Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever. Yeah, so they've cracked 500 a couple times. The Marvels, Quantumania, Eternal, Shang-Chi, Black Widow. Yeah, 500 is going to be tough. 500 is going to be tough. An argument that you can make, not you T3, but people in general, the argument you can make is Marvel movies should make at least 500 every time because of the name recognition. That argument could be said, and then in the boardroom, they could be like, hey, these couple haven't made 500. What's going on? Let's make a change because it should. But they're not making decisions on like, oh, shoot, we're fucking up. That's not happening. Thunderbolts will have good word of mouth out the gate and will perform better. Yeah. And Florence Pugh has star power to her. Red Guardian, David Harbour, he has star power to him. So I agree. By default, it'll make more money. Dave said, I defend Brave New World. Trends when it comes to movies have changed tremendously. Also considering the lackluster Marvel shows and movies that hurt its opening and the media putting it down. I just don't think he was the character. I don't think he was the character to do it. The TV show barely moved the needle. And I thought the TV show was great. It was good. It was good, great. The TV show. Which is probably how I feel about the movie. It wasn't like amazing. It wasn't WandaVision. But it was good enough that I recommend it. And it was good enough that I went back and rewatched a good amount of it. So, there's that. It just didn't have to be a movie. Or it could have been a Disney Plus movie. Like I don't know why they don't do that. Instead of always it being a Disney Plus TV show. I know they want people to subscribe and they'll release the show mid-month. So then you get 2 months of subs, maybe 3 months of subs because you have to watch the whole thing. But I think they need to really start normalizing just doing like a straight to Disney Plus movie. Just because it's Captain America doesn't mean it has to be in the theater because Chris Evans is in it. And he's Captain America to most people. So many outlets like Forbes, such claiming it's terrible, they are damning it. It's like idiocracy. People are being led like lemmings. Think for yourselves. Don't let guys in ties tell you what to like. I mentioned this last week. I'll reiterate it. Maybe I'll enunciate or explain this idea better than I did last week. Reviews are still needed. You still need... People will always seek out a review before most people will seek out a review before they do something. I was going to say all, but I guess no, you can never say all to something. Most people, the review comes from either a friend, Google, influencer, or the old school. You go to a mass media outlet and you see what were the thoughts, what are the reviews. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who still go to Rotten Tomatoes. There are a lot of people who go to Rotten Tomatoes that have no idea there's a whole group of people that are trying to get Rotten Tomatoes shut down because they think it's BS. It is what it is there. So you'll never stop reviews from being a thing. In fact, most of us do reviews here in the chat. Most of us are content creators here. So that's never going to stop. I just think that there are reviewers that have bias. And we could see that, so it's up to the consumer to say, I trust this person or I don't, right? Like that's a conversation. Should you trust IGN? Should you trust Forbes? Should you trust Variety? That's a conversation. But you'll never stop the big companies from putting up reviews and all that stuff. You need it. Hell, you guys come watch my channel for stuff, even if it's not a review, or not a review in the traditional sense. You'll watch it to see my thoughts on X, Y, and Z. Some of you guys probably didn't think Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was great, but because of this stream or the Instagram page or TikTok or whatever, you guys are like, oh, no, I'll give it a shot. So reviews still play a part. They still play a part. I do kind of want a shield. GameStop has one that, I waited for it to be on sale. All the shields I bought them on some sort of clearance. I went to the box office this past weekend, but it's also in the top half of the MCU opening weekends. So to that argument, I call BS. Here's why. Here are your domestic opens. And a lot of people like to throw around the phrase, well, due to inflation blank. But they don't say it. And I'm not talking about you specifically, Daniel. I'm saying in general. A lot of people don't say it when it comes to proving a point to say, maybe my number isn't as impressive as I thought. 88 mil, it's 11th place here. Or in the bottom 11, however you want to phrase it. But all these other movies that came out 2014, 2013, 2012, if I count for inflation, those are even way bigger. It creates a way bigger discrepancy or separation between the bottom tier and the top tier. So that's where I don't like the argument of like, due to inflation blank. People say that to be like, well, you know, Mad Max only made 15 mil due to inflation. Mad Max would have been $100 million movie. But if you're comparing movies in a franchise, the rule has to apply to everything. Avengers at 207 mil, due to inflation, maybe it's 350 mil. And now 350 versus 88, you know? Civil War 179, maybe that's 250 to your 88. Does that make sense? Because even like Iron Man 1 at 98 mil in 2008, if I count for inflation versus Brave New World 88, that 98 is probably 200 the way things are right now. So I saw people posting that, and I think they were trying to spin it in a positive way of like, oh, it's still one of the top performers, or it's top of the year, right? It's only February. Top in the last 3 years. Yeah, Endgame, you know? But when you look at the whole story, it's not impressive at all. It's bottom of the barrel. It ain't the Marvels, but I don't think many movies will be the Marvels. To be honest. I don't. A point was brought up that Captain America Brave New World was the last of the Chapek era of the MCU films where Feige wasn't the decision maker. That's why Daredevil Born Again was reshot from scratch. Feige gained full control back. Chapek is trying to find a replacement. Sorry, I'm thinking of Iger. Yeah, Chapek got fired, right? For Iger. Make sure I'm thinking of the right parties here. Yeah. He got let go so long ago, you know? That was actually, it's on my the Marvel project here. So what I did too, right, to do my homework was I started to track whenever something major happens in the news and where does that tie to TV shows and the movies. Actually, I need to add in here Spider-Man. But Bob Chapek, he left in 2022. And Brave New World was going through all its reshoots last year. So I don't know. I don't know if I can take that argument. Writer strike, all that stuff, totally get. But I don't know if I can take that one. Guess we'll see. What matters most, though, critic reviews or audience. A lot of critic reviews are pretty negative, but the audience scores tend to be higher. So it's like, who do you believe? A paid suit or an influencer? But where does review bombing come into play, right? There are those who will log in and down vote or whatever every MCU movie. And that's going to be on your audience score. But it also might be the critic score too. Like imagine if like a Geeks and Gamer was given credentials to be a certified reviewer for Rotten Tomatoes. Every single MCU movie would be a fail. Didn't matter. That's just what they do. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I'm not saying I'm right or that you guys are wrong necessarily. Like, we have our opinions, and there's a lot of factors in play. So I love talking about this stuff. You guys know that. I think ultimately we have to remember, I've said this week after week for the last like month, those that seek out this level of conversation, very minimal. These movies make money on the masses, the casuals, and if the casuals don't care, if it's not trending on TikTok, if it's not trending on Instagram, it ain't going to do well. It ain't going to do well. There are very few people who pay attention to stuff like Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot that know there's an ongoing thing with, is it legit or not? So there's that. And I'll keep saying till the day I die. I'm determined this year to go to a movie premiere. We need to get this channel to the point that we can go to a movie premiere. Second goal, I would say, is to get a press pass to like a Comic-Con or something. Those are going to be the 2025 goals. I know we're like 2 months in already, but I'm going to lay that out there. If you see me on the red carpet for a Marvel or a Disney production, I'll say, you know I'm compromised. Compromised. I've told you guys this before. Do not trust me on that review. Don't. I remember I was able to go to a premiere. It wasn't like media passes or anything. It was just like, this is in the MySpace days of the internet. They announced that Justice League Doom was coming out, and they were doing a premiere in New York. One of the things I miss about living in New York is there's just premieres all the time. There was a premiere for Justice League Doom, and they were like, "Oh, just submit your name, and we'll draw random people to come to the premiere." And I got selected. Went down there. Kevin Conroy was there. I don't remember seeing Mark Hamill there, but I remember that was the first time I saw what Kevin Conroy looked like, and I was like, "That's Batman. That's my Batman. He looks like the Joker." You know, it was fun. It was just fun being in the room, seeing all these celebrities. They had their own little like red carpet type thing going on, and I sat there and I watched the movie. And I remember I didn't like really like the movie, but it got a lot of extra points just because I was in the room. And this is before YouTube. YouTube did not exist at this point. If YouTube did exist and I was doing a review, or there was a social media page that took video, like that didn't exist then. Like I said, this was MySpace. If I had a platform to post a review in like 24 hours of that movie, it would have got a lot higher of a score than it deserved because I was in the room and got to see the celebrities. So if you guys see me at a Disney premiere, don't trust that review. Give me like a week. Trust that in the later review. Not the first one. The YouTube formula for YouTube is constantly posting new material on a weekly basis. It's a lot of work. Yeah. Hey, Fax Thing, how's it going? All right, T3 got the receipts. Brave New World was greenlit in 2022, in post-production in 2023, filmed in 2024, reshot 3 weeks in 2024. But Chapek was still gone at the end of 2022. If it was greenlit in 2022, no, to me, it would have to be greenlit in like 2020, 21. Shooting happens in 21. Chapek leaves in 22. And then the reshoots after that. That's it. I'm making it a weekly thing with you. I'm on my new podcast to talk about box office. I don't know. We're all going to Japan. That's right. We're supposed to go to Japan. Yeah. Hope we get the media passes. Yeah, thanks. There you go. There you go. Tokyo Force 1. Yeah. But hey, we've been going for a while. I think that's a wrap for today's episode. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover today. Let me just go back to my, I've been making it a point to post on the Instagram timeline, not just stories, and use the timeline to figure out what to talk about on the show. So, like I said, I think I hit all the points, and appreciate you guys being here for the stream. Always fun, always a pleasure. I have nothing cool to report. Not yet. There is one thing in the works, TBD on when that starts to roll out. That will be Ghostbusters related, so stay tuned for that. I'm pretty excited for it. Fun opportunity. Facts, this is the first live. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. Eastern. We're here. T3 said, did you cover the new Marvel Legends announcement from this morning? I did not. I wasn't impressed with anything. In fact, I was going to make a short about the black symbiote suit Spider-Man because they were like, oh, everything, it's a new mold. They were like new mold on the black suit Spider-Man, new mold on Venom, but they didn't announce pricing. So my meme wouldn't have much weight until the pricing's announced. I guarantee you neither of those are $50. So like, why does Maximum have to be $50? You know, new molds. Do you guys remember that video I dropped? God, when was that fucking video? Was that like in 2020? I'm gonna scroll back on Instagram. Let's see. Damn. Hey, JB in the house. Good to see you. Dada says therapy for the soul. I'm glad I can help you out. Yeah. So it's funny. JB was the first one to tell me about that Kingpin. And he said 119 or 89 maybe or something. And I was just like, what? And then he was like, well, that's his speculative bets on what it's going to cost. We'll see. Cutthroat's doing a live stream on the 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern with Nigel Lynch, the writer and creator of Neon Ghost comic book. There you go. Love that. Make sure you guys subscribe to Cutthroat for that. When did I do this video? We'll watch it together and then call it an episode. Oh, by the way, I didn't give it a full conversation, but Netflix picked up Halo TV show. So we'll see if that show comes back. They picked up distribution. So that, they'll have the library there, but will they invest in new episodes of Halo? I doubt it. Man, I got to go way back for this one. Did they ever release that Ezra Miller Flash figure? I just scrolled past it. Did that one ever come up? I don't remember. Oh, no, that's not it. Man, I posted a lot on this Instagram page. More than I remember. I swear I'm almost there. I'm back in like 2022 here, I believe. Come on, you son of a bitch. You can do it. You can do it. Talks amongst yourselves. Oh, yeah, I went to go see Raw live. Forgot about that. Oh, Bad Batch, man. Talk about the highs and lows of Bad Batch. That's for sure. That is for sure. No James Bond. Listen. To me, James Bond as a franchise, it was dead when Kingsman, the first movie, came out. I was like, this needs to be the direction that they go in, and they won't. Now, them going over to Amazon Are they going to change their Are they going to change the vibe of James Bond? I don't know. New Reacher's out. Amazon's giving us Amazon hasn't failed us. I'll say that. But with James Bond, it's not like they own James Bond. They've taken distribution and they're a partner, I believe. My understanding. So for that reason, I don't have any hope that we're gonna get anything good out of that. I know I'm close. I've been saying that for a while. It's funny. I just scrolled past here. I don't know why I'm scrolling without you guys looking at what I'm looking at. Might as well. I scrolled past. Where are you? R.I.P. JDF. It was like a Blade. It was like a Blade announcement about it being delayed, and that was back in 2022, right? Yeah, 2022. Blade movie's never coming out. I'll die on that. Here you go. Marvel holds production. Blade was announced, but I think it'll need to calm down a bit. Wait to hear me out. You make a good point. 2019, I said that movie was not going to come out. It ain't coming out. It is not coming out. Here you go. There are too many projects being rushed at the same time. I think Kevin should step down. Marvel should not do phases anymore. There's no direction. I said that in 2022. 2022. Yeah. Yeah. You need to watch Reacher. Reacher season 3 just dropped. I haven't started it, but Reacher's freaking amazing. Reacher's good. Wow, remember this? Remember when we were excited for Joker 2? Now, how many of you remember Joker 2 came out? Morbius 2. Yeah, he was trolling us on that one. God, where is this video? I gotta find it. Oh, it wasn't even here. That was before I made a nerd affiliated channel. Well, the video essentially was about how there are no toy companies are like, should I do a new mold or just repaint? And it's repaint every time. It's repaint every time. So I don't. They're gonna say that those Gamerverse figures, even a remold, as rare as that is going to be $30, $35 probably, because they put the Gamerverse tax on it. But meanwhile, people are buying the maximum for $50. So, Ida, you know what? Ida, you know what? I guess real quick, let's see what else were we talking about back then? Well, we got New World Order, I guess. Well, they changed it to Brave New World. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, back when we were waiting for Daredevil to come out. And She-Hulk. Yo, I routinely forget I have this tattoo. I'm not lying. I always forget that's on my arm because I don't really ever look at my arm like that. Oh, man. Yeah, you almost like She-Hulk. That's right. Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Why can't I move?
You're paralyzed. Just like that day when you did nothing. You did nothing.
I can't move.
I am not. I need to rewatch Andor before season 2 comes out. I hated season 1, and everybody keeps telling me it's the best Star Wars TV show. And I'm Did I watch the same show? I don't know.
Andor when it's easily the most mature and violent Star Wars project to date, and that's been a consistent complaint from the fan base, as that's something that they want. Because the Star Wars fan base are liars and children. Not literal, I mean like adults who like read at a fourth grade level.
Children and liars, yes, we are. I do not deny that. I also do read at a fourth grade level. Either way, the show sucks. The show's just boring. It's dragging. I love Rogue One. I love non-Jedi stories in Star Wars. Clone Wars, the cartoon, phenomenal show. I've rewatched that show so many times, and a lot of times I skip the Jedi episodes. I love the non-powered episodes, the non-super people episodes. But this show drags. Saul Guerrero today, Forrest Whitaker, killed it. Absolutely killed it. I was actually engaged in his scene. But this could have been episode 3. Episode 2 even. The show's dragging. That's why casuals aren't watching it. Star Wars fans, we watch it just cuz.
Why is nobody watching Andor?
I maintain that take. And last take of the evening, we were talking about Legacy earlier. I have my perfect HasLab for Power Rangers. A Green Ranger shield for adults to wear. And it needs to somehow be adjusted.
You see that?
Yeah. And for tiers,
I already know what you're going to say.
arm gauntlets.
Okay.
I think the ultimate tier, the Dark Sword.
Sword of Darkness.
Sword of Darkness.
I was like, he's going to go for it.
Yeah. That's got to be the final. From this jump, though, they need to tell us that's the final tier. Especially if one of the tiers makes stand.
I don't think I could disagree. Ooh. Imagine if they put, like, they did the Green Ranger helmet and they made a podium that you could put it all together.
Yeah. Tier number 2. It's a podium with a headpiece that the helmet that you already have sits on it, and in the front has a ledge that the dagger also rests on it.
That'd be perfect.
500. Yeah, Daniel, you lost mad weight since. I need to be on my Legacy of Nerd and lose some weight. She-Hulk was MCU Seinfeld genius. This guy. Andor was graduated grade school. Sorry, Andor was for graduated grade schoolers. Yeah, not me. Not me at all. All right, guys, that's a wrap. That's an episode. Appreciate you guys being here. We went a little long today. But yeah, you guys know I love you. Yeah, no, I love you. And the show goes on. Remember, we're going for press passes and we're going for a movie premiere. 2 of those. And a movie premiere can't be like my buddy's movie, you know? It's got to be like notable for it to count. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated Nerdy Coffee. I keep saying periodically. I've not done it in like a month. But it'll be back. They always come back. More shorts, more videos, more unboxings coming here on the channel. Make sure to subscribe here. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. A lot of our shorts go over there to TikTok. So make sure you follow us there. As JB said there, 4K giveaway. Winners are in the queue. He's doing his pick for that. I think tonight's the last night. Follow JB. Follow everybody in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe. Talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. Hit the links down below. Donate to all the charities down below and the Girl Scout cookies. I'm out of here.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.